Hi guys, it's Sophie. So I wanted to film a spring favourites video today. I'd been umming and ahhing about whether or not to film this because I kind of feel like I don't have a lot to show. I have more to talk about, and I was like, actually no, the spirit of spring favourites for me is sharing things that have made me happy, and that doesn't necessarily have to be about material things. Some of them are material things, but they're not things I would normally show you. They're not very aesthetic. But yeah, I thought I would just chat through some of the stuff that I have enjoyed. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is very not aesthetic, but it's made me reliably happy since we got it, and that is our new Hoover. It's a shark Hoover. It's not the whizzy one, but it's the next one down from the whizzy one. We managed to get a discount with the NHS, so we got some money off. And it is amazing. So I put in a little clip of the Hoover where it's empty, and then I'll put in another little bit of it full. So just for context, Tom hoovered everywhere I just did this morning with the same Hoover all over, and that's how much stuff comes out of it in the 8 hours we were asleep. So it is amazing at just pulling stuff from stuff. It's also the reason it's a spring favourite, so we did get it in spring. But we have two cats that both molt in spring. The minute it starts to get sunny, all their fur comes off, and you live in this nightmare world where everything you touch, if you put moisturiser on your face, you'll be covered in cat hair. All your clothes get covered in cat hair. And this Hoover has made me happy in spring because it seems to just pull everything up. The house feels much less itchy on the whole with it, and it just feels a little bit like magic. So that's one of the things that's made me happy that's not particularly aesthetic. I have one more I have two more houseware things. One of them is a toasty maker. So we bought this because we were at that kind of stage in lockdown where we still couldn't go out to cafes, and pre-lockdown and pre-moving really, because I haven't found a specific spot locally I really like. One of my favourite things to do at the weekend was to take a book and go and sit in a coffee shop. And I really missed it, and we got a milk frother a while ago, and then the toasty maker was it made it. So I'm basically recreating the coffee one experience, which is what my favourite place I used to go to in where we lived before, of a chicken pesto and mozzarella panini with a latte, and it's made me very happy. It's one of those things that I feel like you buy and then you kind of forget about, and then you might not use it again. But for this short time period where there was no accessibility to one of those small treats I really liked, it's been a really good thing to have. I kind of want one today, so I'm going to have to decide whether or not I can be bothered to go into town to find all the bits. But it is a really lovely little thing, and Tom and I probably had 6 or 8 paninis each in it since we got it last month. And yeah, it's definitely cheaper than £3-4 a pop in a cafe. And the last home thing is this mug. Foster's being loud. Hey Foss. I love getting new mugs, and I broke my favourite mug that I had, which was from Waitrose, and I bought this little one. It's much smaller than my usual mugs. I like big mugs, but this one's quite nice for mornings and coffee. So I'll quite often have my first early morning coffee at 7ish, and then I'll have another one like I am now at 10ish to split out my coffee throughout the day. And I'm really enjoying I love new mugs. I love having little mugs that are just kind of cute. I got rescued from buying another one in M&S recently because the rule of thumb in our house is the newest mug is the one I adore, and Tom can't use it because he leaves them in his room for weeks on end. And this is currently my favourite, but if I bought a new one then this one would just disappear. I would be yeah, I'll use it when I want to and it suits my needs, but this is my newest mug and it makes me happy. Okay, so I have a couple random things that were making me happy. One of them is these. I bought these on Etsy. They're called LSW Mind Cards. And I haven't used them as much as I wanted to, but I'm planning on using them a lot over the next few days. I don't think I've spoken about these before, but if I have, it's well worth repeating because I think they're really good. So there's 45 cards. You shuffle your way through them, and they have prompts, different varieties of things that you can do just to try and make your day that little bit better. So the one I pulled out here is in Ritual, and it says to find a new recipe and cook a meal from scratch whilst listening to your favourite podcast or audiobook. So what I do is if I pulled one out, I will put it here for the day and try and remind myself to do that. They have gratitude cards, journal cards, kindness cards, and reflection cards too. And I've been using them like kind of sparingly because life's just been really busy and it's even harder to do stuff like this, but that's when I need them more. So yes, I'm going to try and make a concerted effort to actually use them a little bit more. But let's see whether or not I can try and cook something new tonight. I think that could be quite nice. Tom and I are both off of work today, so hopefully that's achievable. Then the next thing is actually what I'm wearing. I'm going to have to disturb Foz, but I got this dress. Let me just stand up for you. I got this dress. It's really long. There we go, there's the end. Really long, and I really like it has like cut out sleeves, like it goes up, there we go, it goes up really high at the top. I got it from M&S. It was £20 I think, and I just think it's such a good basic. I've been wearing it at the minute because it's still a bit cold with long sleeve things underneath, but I kind of feel like it would work with like so much stuff. And I wear dresses to work a lot, and in the summer like having no sleeves at all I think would be really nice and just really like chill, but it's also really long, so I could definitely wear it to the office when we eventually sort of make our way back in again. And it's just one of those things. When I wore it for the first time, I wore it like for 2 days straight with different stuff on underneath, and when I had to go in the wash I was like, I don't want to put it in the wash, I want to wear it again, because it just made me feel happy. So yeah, tiny things. On the theme of tiny things, I have got some new hand cream from the Body Shop, and it's not new to me as in I've never used it before. It's new to me, don't you dare hit my ring, it's new to me as in I'd used up my old one. It's this one, it's the coconut Body Shop one, and it's been my favourite for a really long time. If she bites my ring I'm gonna have to knock her off. It's been my favourite for a really long time. It smells amazing and really comforting, and part of my like evening calm down like ritual is that I put on my eye cream, my hand cream and lip balm before I go to sleep. And it ran out and I was using another one. I'll show you which one I was using. I was using this one, which is the White Jasmine and Peony hand cream from Waitrose, just because Waitrose is our local supermarket, which smells nice but a little bit old lady, and it doesn't like calm me the same way the other one does, so it's a rebuy. It was a £5, but it just smells comforting, and sometimes I think I need that like familiarity to help me calm down. As I say, like it's almost hard to make this video because they feel like they're so specific, but I wanted to anyway because it's kind of good gratitude practice. Then the next thing I've been loving is like definitely something that is like a mixed love and frustration, but I think it's me trying to see the best in it. The weather in the UK has been appalling. Here it's been probably like 3 weeks since we had a day where you could actually sit outside, and I have found that annoying because I obviously want to sit out and I want to see some sunshine and go on walks and stuff, but I have loved seeing what it's doing to our garden. The grass is super long in these clips, so apologies for that, but it's bringing all of the flowers to life. It's just throwing stuff upwards. We planted a new apple tree in February for my birthday, and the tree is like settling in, and as much as I would love for it to be sunny, I feel like I know at some point it will be sunny and the garden is just going to look perfect because it's had this sunshine and the rain mixed through the spring, and we've had even more rain, so I feel like it's really established all of our like perennial plants really well. So even though it's sad for me as a human to kind of sit there and see it wet outside and not be able to do stuff, I have really found joy in like watching the garden absolutely love it, love life, and just go absolutely bang. I think it's going to be glorious when the sun does come out and all of the flowers properly open up. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of spring favourites is running. So I have only just started running. I've been on 3 runs. I used to run a long time ago with my dad when I was a teenager, but since then it's just been something that has not been for me, that I never thought I'd be able to do. And I think it's not like as much about the running, though the running is something I'm enjoying, and it's been really satisfying to see my body be able to do that when I didn't think I could. I think it's like pride that this month in May, it's been a year since I started trying to exercise regularly. And besides a break just before Christmas, I had about a month and a half off before Christmas, I have reliably exercised every week, which is a huge achievement for me. I think I viewed myself as someone who was bookish and connected to my mind, not to my body. And exercising felt like it was not for people who felt the same way as me. I hated exercise at school. The only thing I was ever any good at was swimming, but PE was just absolute hell. I hated it. I hated the whole experience of it, and I carried that through up to last year. And I just feel really proud of myself, like knowing that in this spring I was getting bored of doing all the things I was doing, and I'm not yet at the point where I'm going to go back to my gym, mostly because I'm finding the restrictiveness of having to book in advance not necessarily matching what I want to do in like using exercise and honouring my body and choosing the type of exercise I do in a day depending on how my body feels. So I'm not going to join up for the minute until we eventually lose the requirement to book in advance. I hope we do eventually. If not, I might have to rethink it. But I was just feeling really like lethargic about it and not knowing what to do with myself, feeling like maybe I'm not enjoying it anymore. And I just feel really proud that I randomly just chose to do something completely different, and I'm now enjoying that. And it feels like a challenge again. It feels like something new and shiny. And it's nice knowing all of the things I was doing will be there for me, like in the future if I want them again. So those are the things that have made me like happy, grateful, or that I've really enjoyed through this spring. Yeah, I always like filming these, and I always say this in every video, I forget to film them. So I think what I might do is maybe put a calendar reminder in at the end of like each season to remind myself that I find value in reflecting over the things I've liked, the things I've used, the things that have made me happy. But yeah, just a little short video talking about all the things this spring that I have enjoyed. I hope you guys have had a nice season and that you found some little things that you have enjoyed as well. Yeah, have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys again soon in my next video. Bye!